Hello, welcome back to another video, guys. Welcome back. If you watched last night's two videos, go ahead and give yourself a round of applause. Anyway, um, if you read the title of today's video, it is called Nature and the Community. Now, nature is one of those everyone says that they somewhat have a connection with, but it's not really true. You can't just have a connection with everyone around me is a part of nature. That's something that, maybe you may not be a big part of nature, maybe nature itself. So I want to just recommend something real quick. If you don't have this one book, you need to get it. It's called, it's just something that I do like when I'm talking seriously. Um, this is where I live, and I feel like, especially if you're in a block in your yard, you shouldn't be afraid to be part of the reason why your community, your neighborhood is a community. So I feel like you need to, every once in a while, we living in the age of electronics, right? There's an electronic everything. I feel like nowadays, because of that, I think sometimes, even if it's just going out shooting or going out just to play around with your cousins or something like that, or go play with your just to play around with your cousins or something like that, or go play with your brother, or go visit somebody. Get out the house, every once in a while. You wanna feel the dirt under your feet. Like, go outside. This is not supposed to be like some corny joke or something, cause like black people, we are part of nature. And I've actually heard somebody say this. I heard somebody say this that one of the scholars, they say that Zazwe, come here. So actually outside right now. But they say that you know, the African is a part of nature, right? And the European is at war with nature. That's why the European is at war with the African. And that's really powerful, because you realize, all right, I'm a part of nature too. I mean, how do you think, as enslaved Africans, we were able to escape and use the materials around us to escape as well? Like, how do you think that was able to become of us? And of course, we were extremely smart when they took us off the island, off Africa. And actually, what I want to let you guys know is that not only you want to connect to your ancestors, but you want to connect to the soil. Try to learn a little bit of the history of the property where you stay at. Me personally, I know that my great-grandmother owned this property and she died here on this property. I know that another, a nurse, I think her name is Nurse Nelson, on this property, and she died here on this property as well. So I challenge you guys to go where you live or where a relative lives in a black community and learn about the history of where they live. Learn about the history of the community. Learn about who lived in that community. Learn about what it was before it is what it is today. I mean, there's a lot of things that you don't think of just because you think, oh, I just live here. No, there's more to it than that. Because not only do you live there, you spend a lot of your time there. don't you? You spend a lot of your time in your house. And if you live in a black community, you spend a lot of time in that black community. If you don't even realize you live in a black community, you one of those people that's like, nah, I live in the suburbs. This ain't no black community. This is just a community. Like, one thing I want y'all to know is don't get yourself confused with the fact that don't say like my community is not a black community just because some white people move into your community. I know that there's some white people who live down the street from me. Literally like a couple houses down across the street. And literally these people always trying to act as ghetto as all get up. And it's like, don't nobody care what you doing. Don't nobody even want you here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't ever had somebody move into your neighborhood, if you know you live in a black neighborhood, if you know you live in a black populated community or neighborhood, then you know that if you see a white person, it's pretty rare, right? And if a white person show up in your community, it's like, well, why are you here? But if you can't do nothing at that point, you can't do anything about it. So all you gotta do is go on about your business and do what you gotta do if they mess with you. That's what I say, right? If you agree, go ahead and hit that like button. But that may not be the only thing. Like I said, don't get confused because some white people move into your black neighborhood and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this ain't a black community anymore. Also, be proud. I want you to be proud that you live in a black community. Like, be proud that you live on black soil where the blacks live. But also, don't be trying to rep your community in a bad way. That's where all those stereotypes come from, us being proud that we live in a bad community, and the white supremacists have put that on us. The white people have put that on us. All right? And we don't want to be doing that. I mean, be proud that you live in a black community. Don't be proud of the negative sides, because you can change those if you actually tried and you weren't trying to rep it all the time. Couldn't you? Yeah, you could. But you still proud that you live on that type of soil. Like me, if you ask my mom why we live here, if you ask her, are you trying to get up out of here? She say, no, we live here on purpose. We live in a black neighborhood. And we don't have a problem with it. Like, if you know you black and you live in a black neighborhood, you get used to the fact that your neighborhood is black. But when a white person moves in, it's like, well, what the hell? What the heck just happened to the neighborhood? Like, why are you here? What are you doing? You messing up our vibe? In a black neighborhood, don't matter how big or small it is, everybody knows each other because that's just how we are. We look after one another. Don't matter if you just got here or if you've been here all your life. Right? Right. So, with that being said, my main point, going through all of that is to say that you want to be connected within living in a black community, within living on black soil. You want to learn more about the history of where you live, the community, the property itself, the property next to it. Learn more about it. Learn more about who was there. Learn more about what they did. Consider them your family because they live there with you. Or their spirit is there with you. There's a lot of things that come out of just living here in nature itself. Go outside, look at the trees, study the plants, study the animals around. If you got stray animals in your neighborhood, which I do, study them. Look at the way they react to when people walk down the street. Look at the way they react to when a person sees them. Right? So I thank you guys for watching this video. And as always, make sure you live good. Live life good, right? Have a dance party. Make yourself feel good. You wanna live the way that you wanna live, then live that way, dang. Don't be letting people try to tell you that you ain't got the power and you ain't got the resources, and because you live in a black community, you poor. I know. I got a lot of privileges. And I still live in a black community. But anyway,